Real power begins the moment their presence no longer controls your emotions. There's a kind of attraction that doesn't need touch to be felt, a quiet tension that lingers in the air, where their presence once wrapped around your mind so deeply it felt almost addictive. The way they looked at you, the way they pulled you in without effort. It wasn't just connection, it was control disguised as desire. But the moment you stop responding to that pull, the moment their presence no longer moves you the same way, something shifts, and the power they once held begins to disappear. When you have truly overcome a narcissist, not just by setting a limit, not just by ending the connection, but by deeply breaking their ability to use you as emotional supply, the first and clearest sign is something most people do not expect at all. It is complete silence. I want to explain this silence clearly because it is very different from the narcissist's usual habits like ignoring you, disappearing for a while, or pulling away to create confusion. This is not the silent treatment meant to punish you. This is not a planned distance designed to make you feel anxious and chase after them again. This is not even the quiet phase after they leave you for someone new. This is something much deeper and more final. This is the silence of real defeat, and it feels very different. Think about how a narcissist usually reacts when you have tried to leave before, when you have set limits, or when you have questioned their control over you. There is always some kind of reaction from them. There are attempts to pull you back, those careful efforts filled with promises, emotional messages, or reminders of good memories. Sometimes they act weak to gain sympathy. Other times they become angry, reacting strongly to being challenged or losing control. There can also be damage to your reputation, where they speak badly about you to others to hurt you. A narcissist who still believes they have power over you will always respond in some way. They will try to regain control, try to get supply again, and try to return to the position of power they once had. They cannot accept the idea that you are truly out of their reach, so they keep coming back in different ways. They test your reactions. They try to trigger your emotions. They look for any opening to rebuild the connection, even if it is through conflict. But when you have truly moved beyond them, when you have built strong mental freedom and emotional distance, something changes in their response. It becomes nothing at all. There is no attempt to pull you back, no anger, no effort to damage your name, no quiet attempts to stay connected through other people, no small signs, no unexpected meetings. There is simply nothing. This silence is their unspoken acceptance that they no longer have access to you. For someone who is used to constant emotional movement, constant attempts from the narcissist, this silence can feel strange at first. You may find yourself waiting, expecting something to happen, preparing for their next move. You may feel ready for a message, an apology, or even an attack, but nothing comes. That silence shows something important about how the narcissist thinks. They only continue trying when they believe there is still a chance. They try to pull you back when they see a weakness they can use. They get angry when they believe their anger will affect you or make you react. They depend on your response to feel control. But when none of those methods work, when they clearly see that you are truly done, that your limits are strong, that you no longer care in the same way, there is no reason for them to continue. You are no longer a source they can use. You are not even a source of reaction anymore. In their mind, you have become completely closed off. There is nothing they can reach, nothing they can influence. So they move on to easier targets where they can still feel control. Many people do not understand this right away. This is what true defeat looks like from their side, the moment they realize you cannot be controlled or pulled back. For you, this silence can actually be a form of confirmation. A narcissist who still believes they have influence will not stay quiet. They will try, they will push, they will find ways to reconnect. Their silence tells a different story. It shows that you have created such a strong boundary that there is nothing left for them to use. You are no longer available to them in any way that benefits them. This is something many people do not recognize at first, but it is one of the clearest signs that you have truly separated yourself from their control in a deep and lasting way. When this silence happens, it is not because they suddenly respect your boundaries. It is because they understand those boundaries cannot be broken. Their pride cannot handle repeated failure, so they stop trying. But this silence often comes with another clear change, something that people around the narcissist may begin to notice. When you have truly removed yourself from their life, especially if you were an important emotional support for them, there is often a visible decline in how they function. This is not about feeling satisfaction from their struggles. It is about understanding the psychological effect of losing a key source of stability. This happens because you are not just another person in their life. You are supporting an important part of their mental structure. You are helping them stay balanced, often without even realizing it. When you fully removed yourself, that structure began to weaken. They try to replace you, of course. They look for new people who can give them what you gave, but what you provided is not easy to replace. Your emotional strength, awareness, and ability to handle difficult behavior were rare. The new people either cannot provide the same support or do not stay long enough to become deeply involved. As a result, the narcissist remains in a state of imbalance that becomes more visible over time. The effort required to maintain their image becomes too much without that support. Slowly, their true state begins to show. People around them may not fully understand what is happening, but they notice the changes. They begin to question the image they once believed. This shows something important. You played a bigger role than the narcissist ever admitted, not because you were responsible for them, but because you were doing emotional work that kept their system stable. When you stopped doing that work, they were left to face their own internal struggles without support. That is why the changes become visible. This is not about blame. It is about understanding the impact of your presence and the effect of your absence. When you leave completely, the narcissist must either develop inner strength, which is difficult without help, or struggle with instability. The decline others see is simply the narcissist without the support you once provided. It is their reality without the structure that helped them function. Another strong sign of true defeat is a major change in their behavior, especially in how they handle their environment. When a narcissist feels fully exposed, when their image has been damaged in a place where people have seen the truth, they often leave that environment completely. This is not their usual behavior. Normally, they stay in the same place, keep their social circle, and replace you while maintaining their image. They want you to see them move on. They want to appear unaffected. But when their image is broken in front of others, staying becomes difficult. If too many people have seen the truth, if their behavior has been exposed, if their usual control no longer works, they cannot continue in that same environment. Their identity depends on the image they present. When that image is damaged beyond repair, it creates a deep internal conflict. They cannot maintain their role in that space anymore, so they leave. And often they leave suddenly. They may move to a new place, change their social circle, or completely restart their life somewhere else where their past is unknown. This final step shows just how deep the impact of true separation can be. It is not just about ending a relationship. It is about completely removing yourself from a system where you were playing a key role. When that happens, everything connected to that system begins to shift. The silence, the visible decline, and the sudden change in environment all point to the same truth. You are no longer part of their world in any way that they can use. And that is something they cannot easily accept, so they choose distance, silence, and starting over instead. They leave entire friend circles, professional networks, and community spaces behind. They let go of the people and places that once gave them status and recognition. It is almost like they destroy their old life and begin again somewhere completely new. This kind of full withdrawal is the narcissist's way of showing, without directly saying it, that they cannot maintain their inflated image in any place where you are present or where others have seen them lose control. Even the memory of what happened between you creates discomfort for them. It makes it hard for them to continue acting the same way. The role they once played becomes impossible to perform in that environment, and staying there feels like constant exposure. What this behavior shows is something very important. Despite all their claims of being superior, confident, or untouchable, they cannot handle the truth being visible to others. They cannot stay in a space where people have seen beyond their mask. Their entire mental system depends on controlling how they are seen and what story people believe about them. When that control is lost in a certain place, they feel they have no choice but to leave it completely. This is also very different from the usual way they end relationships. In a normal discard, they leave from a place of control, trying to make it seem like they are moving on to something better while you are left behind. But in this situation, they are not leaving from strength. They are leaving because they feel exposed and defeated. It is more like running away than moving forward. And this kind of running often comes with real consequences. They may lose jobs they spent years building. They may damage or lose friendships that once supported them. They may face financial loss because of sudden decisions like moving quickly. Still, they accept these losses because staying in a place where their true behavior has been seen feels far worse to them. Many people do not understand this at first. Starting over with nothing feels easier to them than staying where their image has already broken. This allows the narcissist to rebuild their false image again in a place where no one knows their past. But for those who understand this pattern, it reveals something very clear. The narcissist's power was never real. It depended completely on controlling information and shaping the story others believed. Once that control was broken, once enough people saw the truth in a way that could not be changed, the narcissist had nothing solid to rely on. They did not have strong, honest relationships that could survive the truth. They did not have a real reputation built on consistent character. Everything depended on the act they were performing. When that act could no longer continue in that place, they had to leave and find somewhere else where they could start again without being questioned. It often looks like they are giving up everything they built rather than facing the people who saw their fall. From the outside, it may not seem like a wise decision, but it shows that their identity was built on something fragile that could not handle being exposed. There is also another sign of true defeat that comes from an unexpected direction, and it often surprises people because it comes from those who once supported the narcissist. When you have truly broken away and removed yourself completely, you may begin receiving messages from people who were close to the narcissist. These could be friends, family members, co-workers, or even people who once defended them strongly. But the tone of these messages is very different from before. These are not messages meant to blame you, pull you back, or defend the narcissist's actions. Instead, they carry real concern. People begin to say they are worried. They mention that the narcissist is not acting like themselves. They express that something feels wrong, and they do not understand what is happening. At first, they may admit they never fully understood what happened between you and the narcissist. But now they are seeing behavior that makes them question things. This shift is important because it shows a change in perception. These people were used to seeing the controlled version of the narcissist, the charming and confident image that was carefully presented. When you were still in that environment and tried to speak up, many of these same people may not have believed you. They may have supported the narcissist or dismissed your experience because it did not match what they saw. By doing this, they can appear honest while still maintaining control of how they are seen. It allows them to keep some level of image while adapting to the new reality. They are not fully accepting responsibility. They are managing how much truth they show so that it fits a new version of their image. This happens because complete denial is no longer possible. The evidence is too clear and the defeat has been too strong to ignore. In the end, what all of this shows is something very simple but very powerful. True defeat of a narcissist is not loud, dramatic, or filled with final arguments. It is quiet, steady, and deeply final. It is seen in their silence, in their withdrawal, in the way they stop trying because they know there is nothing left they can reach in you. It is seen in the cracks that begin to show in their life, in the changes others start to notice, and in the way their carefully built image can no longer hold in the same way. It is also seen in the distance they create, the new life they try to build, and the stories they tell to protect what is left of their identity. Every one of these signs points to the same truth. You are no longer part of their system. You are no longer something they can influence, control, or return to. And that is something they cannot fight against anymore, so they step away completely. So the silence, the distance, and everything that follows is not something to fear or question. It is confirmation. It is the natural result of choosing yourself fully and no longer allowing someone else to define your space or your peace. And once you reach that point, there is nothing left for them to take, nothing left for them to control, and nothing left for them to return to.